to a certain extent where maybe the Lions don't get the number 1 seed. That's the mindset. They're going to come out with nothing to lose. That's a tough team to beat.
The 1 seed is so important. I know we've been beating that drum for months.
They have done everything that they can
Got
to
it.
give themselves a buffer. Now, it's not a huge buffer, but they still control the fact that they went out. There's nothing anyone else can do.
Hey, it'd be great if Ford Field hosted the NFC
He
title.
said
Think about
cuckoo.
that. How cool that'd be for the fans.
Was
The
it
environment.
Kathy's
That
friend
matters.
Kim?
But to me, it's about an extra week off. It's a week
Yeah.
where you can't get injured, a week where you can heal up. Someone like Frank Ragnow,
At least it
these
wasn't
veteran
Kathy.
players that are really
So
beat
Kim
up.
just got laid off?
The
Yeah.
bye week is so important for that reason more than anything else.
Sure, and I mean, we never hear
Sad,
anything
but
about Sewell being
better
picked
than
up,
Kathy.
but when
Better
you
than
Ziegler, all right, he's missed a
your
game.
sister.
You know, at his age, he's feeling it at this time of the year. Frank, we already know he's feeling it this time of year. Graham Glasgow, I know that you know he's feeling it. Decker, like to be able to get that bye week for the offensive line, for everybody else is very important. But it's also going to be about Gibbs. Gibbs is going to take more of the workload. He's going to take more hits to be able to get that bye week and be as fresh as you can be going into the second round of the playoffs.
248-539-9797. Let's get to Tanner in Flat Rock. Tanner, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, how are y'all?
Good.
So I think that the biggest thing is with the loss to the Buffalo Bills, I think instead of it making an underdog mindset, to me it seems like it removed almost like a chip because there were so many people outside looking in going, oh man, the Lions are one game away from falling apart. The Lions are this, the Lions are that. Well, a lot of people don't realize and understand that 1 seed would play a lot of benefit because of the bye. But with the injuries that the Lions have sustained and them still being at the top of the NFC is extremely impressive, no matter how the outside eyes looking in.
It's a really weird question. Are the Lions underdogs? Like, they could, to your point, be the 1 seed. The 22 guys on IR builds this, like, well, they are kind of up against it, us against the world. It's a very odd place to be where you could be both the 1 seed and kind of channeling some underdog energy. I can't fully remove the idea, like, I can't fully buy into them as an underdog when you're the 1 seed. I can't fully buy in when they are capable of winning a Super Bowl, labeling themselves as underdogs. You can't ever put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't have last year's mentality this year. Last year was fresh. It was different. You were breaking out onto the scene. You're established now. Even with the injuries, you're established as one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL.
And I don't
You're
know
not
that
truly an underdog.
And I've not really heard anybody take them out of Super Bowl contention, out of being the Super Bowl favorite. And there's a lot of people, and I know, Jim, you're in this, where how do they overcome these injuries? If they were to get to the Super Bowl, or even the NFC Championship game, how do they beat Philly? How do they beat Buffalo? We already saw the head-to-head matchup, and they started that game much more full strength than they will be playing that game, in the Super Bowl. So how do they match up against Baltimore if Baltimore ends up making a run in the playoffs? About Kansas City, all of those things. That's a problem for February.
Ticket Texter says Detroit loves the underdog, and so do I. I'll buy into this mentality. Okay. Another one says, John, another meeting with HR. Being exposed on the air.
Yeah.
Dustin and Burton. I won't buy anything until we win 3 in a row and get the 1 seed. If we don't do that, it's all gaslighting BS. We will not win 3 on the road in the playoffs. You're not willing to say they will not, but I agree with the sentiment.
It makes it really tough.
That is we've already talked about how hard this is going to be. That just makes it so much more difficult. Dexter says, I'm not sure what I can't tolerate anymore. I can't tolerate Valenti's doom rant, and I can't tolerate Cookie's unicorn fantasy. I feel like I've been...
What's your unicorn fantasy?
Does he think I'm, like, selling people a bill of goods right now? I told you, I don't think they're the best team in the NFL right now. I don't think they're the Super Bowl favorite. I don't think I've been selling people a unicorn fantasy. If anything, I got yelled at yesterday because I was too...
You were more of the doom and gloom.
And I've tried to strike what, to me, is an honest balance. Like,
Do you still expect them to be the 1 seed?
yes, I do. I don't know that I expect them to beat Buffalo, Kansas City in the Super Bowl. But I want to get there and find out. Like, that's what I said yesterday, and I'll stress it again to people. As a fan of this football team, I can't unplug the season. I have to keep some level of emotional buy-in, and there is still a path for them to win the Super Bowl. It feels narrow. It feels like I was deflated coming off of that loss. I'm still a fan. I still root like hell for this football team. I want it so bad. We all want it so bad. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like, I'm also grappling with the harsh realities of they're not the best team. They're going to have to upset somebody. They're going to have to win a shootout. They're going to have to force maybe a fortunate bounce on a turnover in a big game late in the season. They can, but I believe definitively they will. And that's not the doom and gloom you're getting later in the day. And maybe it's not as rosy as other people have expressed on the station. I guess I'm in the middle, and that's not exciting radio, but it's truly where I think a lot of Lions fans are. I think we're all kind of trying to piece this together and grapple with it.
Yeah, and so you're trying to deal with purgatory.
A little bit, yeah.
You know,
no man's land.
Yeah, you're not in either camp. And again, I don't think there's any wrong camp to be in right now. I understand the doom and gloom. I understand the positivity, and I also understand kind of being stuck in between both worlds.
Power surge before the hour's done. Your thoughts on that spin zone? Lions are actually underdogs now. It's going to be a little more fun. They're going to be hunting instead of being the hunted. 97-1. Dive into the best pool in history. We're talking about Stadium Swim. Weather is not getting better here in Michigan. It's not getting warmer. You want to go somewhere warm and watch all the big games? It's Circa Resort and Casino. Catch all the biggest games at a viewing experience built with sports fans in mind. 6 pools, 3 different levels, perfect view of a massive 40-foot-tall high-definition screen. You've probably seen the experience on social media. Experience it yourself at Stadium Swim, America's favorite place to watch football. And if you're starting to plan ahead, maybe a guy's trip coming up in March for basketball, you want to start thinking about that now. Swim-up bars, Insta-ready selfie walls, a non-stop football party. It's for your perfect game day spot. They've got cozy day beds, private cabanas. Anywhere you find, you're going to have a view of the big games. Reserve your place today. 365 days of sports, poolside. Circa Resort and Casino, downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Stadium Swim, all sports, all seasons. Book your spot today. CircaLasVegas.com.
97.1 The Ticket.
From the WWJ 24-hour traffic center, sponsored by Bishop Airport. Hey, good morning to you. The accident along westbound 696 at Hoover has the left shoulder blocked.
Well,
Thanks to my
what's up?
How are you? I am
Good.
watching this one for you. There is an active crew across that stretch. Of course, there's a big delay. You guys are tapping the brakes at the immediate side of the accident, slowing things down there. And the fatal situation along southbound US 23 at Spencer still has all of the lanes completely closed off. Right now, that's turning into an investigation. Traffic is being forced off at M59. I've been watching this one much of the morning. Northbound I-75 after Allen. Left shoulder is blocked by an accident there, and lights are out along southbound Telegraph at Van Born Road. Traffic signals are blinking red in all directions. You need to treat it as an always stop and be on the safe side. Book your winter adventure today from Flint Bishop on the Legion. Offering non-stop flight from coast to coast. Explore Portland, Oregon, the New York City area, Vegas, Phoenix, Nashville, and many Florida destinations with ultra-low fares. Plan your trip from Flint Bishop at Allegiant.com. I'm Val Berry with traffic.
Now you can order 97.1 The Ticket merchandise. Go to shoptheticket.com. That's shoptheticket.com.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? Call 800-6-WISDOM. That's 800-694-7366 for your complimentary financial wisdom book. And join Joe Uplegger for the Financial Wisdom Radio Show, Sundays from 7 to 8 a.m.
St. Nick decides if you've been naughty or if you've been nice. But if you want to be both, you shop at Cirilla's this holiday season. Experience firsthand how the experts have been helping couples stay jolly with the gift of pleasure. With relaxing massage oils, flirty couples games, lingerie in all sizes, and of course, name brand intimate toys. Because Santa only comes once a year, but for gifts that keep giving all year long, shop Cirilla's in Detroit with 6 area locations or online at Cirillas.com.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man. High five.
sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Uptime Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet. 5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
It's 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, love partners. Chamberlain, best port, get long.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee. It's back, but only for a limited time. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to customer service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, including tax and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Hi, Matt Carco here from Bill Brown Ford in Livonia. It's that time of year we celebrate the things that matter most in our lives, our family, friends, and community. We are so grateful for our amazing customers and staff who made Bill Brown Ford the #1 Ford dealership in the nation for 3 years in a row. You're the reason we do what we do, and we appreciate your loyalty and trust. From our family to yours, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year.
Join 97.1 The Ticket tomorrow at Little Caesars Arena for Detroit basketball. Jeff Rieger broadcasts live starting at 6 and the Pistons take on the Utah Jazz. Tickets are available at pistons.com.
I'm Bob Bergman, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helps take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment. We did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website for technology projects, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com. Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK. Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie. Hey, and you can't keep celebrating when you create affordable prices just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas. I will. Hey, make it a large. Bundling. Just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor.
What are you looking at?
I don't know.
What were you looking at?
I'm not looking at...
You were looking at something.
I wonder what truck we'll take on Christmas Eve.
I think it'll be this white one. We're going to need to clean it out, though.
The black one? The white one?
Yeah. I think so.
Sports betting updates for pivotal games as they happen live. Get the latest on in-game prop bets, DFS, and more. Bet MGM tonight, weeknights 7 to 11 on the Bet 1270 and the Odyssey app.
I'm on track for my goal of returning for the Super Bowl, and so I keep telling all the boys when I see them in the facility, I'm like, you guys just gotta get there, and I promise you, I'm gonna be
because
back.
the black one.
I tell people that. My mom was like, I remember we were talking yesterday, and she's like, Aiden, like what if you don't get back? Like what if you can't? And I was like, there's no other way.
That's Jeff Rieger.
Is it? Is he there?
Yep, I see him pull in.
Oh, yeah.
There's no other way.
Is he Jeffrey with him?
I see him come from this way because he was coming from my old school.
Right.
I mean, you can
Is
see
Jeffrey with him?
the fireworks,
Jeffrey?
the mist,
The draft.
The draft?
He went bankrupt.
Oh, what about maybe Glazer?
Promise those guys I'll be there. Is it hope? Is it false hope? Maybe a little bit of both, but I think right now everybody could use a little reason. Hey, we can just get there. Aiden will run out of that tunnel like it's a movie, and he'll play in the Super Bowl. And while they don't have a Lee McNeil, he can give him a shot in the arm in a matchup
And
against
you know what?
Allen or Mahomes or
Jeffrey Glazer,
Lamar. Who
he
knows?
has
Yeah, how
a
about what do
dog.
you think about having him opposite to Darius Smith?
You know what his dog says?
I mean,
I don't know.
His dog says.
So that's why I say, and I don't know if it's back or not, I still think it's a long shot. And we are all pulling for that possibility. But when we talk about the matchup with maybe a rematch of the Bills, or if it's the Chiefs, or if it's the Ravens, or it's the Steelers, whoever comes out of the AFC, that's why I say that's February's problem. Because things could look really different. Things could look different for the Lions if Aiden Hutchinson is back. Things could look different for these
I don't know.
for any of these other teams as well. It's not like just because the Lions have had these injuries. First of all, they're not immune to more injuries. But it doesn't mean that Buffalo or Kansas City, like, they're not immune to injuries either. They already saw Patrick Mahomes get up limping.
He might not make it to the Super Bowl either. 248-539-9796. I would think it's more false hope than real hope that one, Aiden would play, and two, that he would be an impact player after missing all this time. But even if it's false hope, it is something for them to motivate. If we can just give Aiden a chance to come back and play in the Super Bowl. David Montgomery said, "Don't put me on IR," and they haven't.
Is it?
I don't know if he's going to come back. Carlton Davis, not on season-ending IR. I mean, these are things that you cling to because, John, if they can land that one seed,
We've got plenty.
Now you get a bye week. Now you get another chance.
Yeah. I mean, the Aiden Hutchinson audio is everywhere. We're watching
it on SportsCenter.
Yeah. And they're talking about the impact of the injuries. It is a conversation around every corner of the NFL is how is Detroit going to respond? And how many times have we asked this question this year? How is Detroit going to respond? When they went down first, when the injuries continued to stack up, when it was weather, when it was nighttime, when all of these different things have all been times where we've asked how are the Lions going to respond, and how have they responded every single time?
Ticket text 248-539-9797. We also brought up this spin I heard from a Lions season ticket holder. He said, when you think about it, now the pressure's off. These injuries have removed the favorite status from the Lions, and they can play more as this underdog team. We're not supposed to win the Super Bowl. We have all these injuries. And maybe that's a mindset that you better identify with as a Lions fan. Hey, get in the postseason. No one expects us to win it all, but we can. We can. We're not the best team in football right now, but we can. And we may be the best team in football at the end of the season. That's maybe the mindset shift. Are you guys buying that? Not that losing was a good thing, but as Campbell put it, they needed to lose, right? They can be a good thing for them. Maybe it shifts the mindset. 248-539-9797. Texter says the Lions have always been better as underdogs. Yes, being a Super Bowl favorite's great, but this takes the stress off their shoulders.
Damn it.
Now they're in the chase. They still got key players on both sides. Says no one likes to be favored because then you're expected to win. Now they can ball with the weight off of their shoulders.
I think there's a lot of people that would like to be favored. I don't think anybody, they never did shy away from the expectation of winning the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell talked about it. Brad Holmes has talked about it. Like, this is, we are all over the Wings and the Tigers and every other team because they just won't simply say, we expect to win our division. We expect to win our conference. We expect to be a Super Bowl team or a championship team.
Right now, NFC odds, the Eagles are now favored in 5 of the 7 major sports.
Yes, I saw that shift yesterday. The Lions moved down to 3rd in Super Bowl and 2nd in the conference.
Yeah, so I mean, they were clearly the Super Bowl favorite last week.
Now they're not even.
Now they dropped. Now they're not the NFC favorite in most places.
And they're not expected to even go to the Super Bowl.
So that would classify them as an underdog. Never tell me the odds.
Greg is on it. Let's get to the phones. Mike and Lapeer. Mike, good morning.
Hello there, yeah. Me and the wife are heading out to Chicago. Got the Lions whoop the butt out there.
Right.
And of course, yes, sir. And as far as the doom and gloom go, I just say that didn't Michigan beat Ohio State? Didn't Navy beat Army? I'm here to tell you right now on this fine Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it is.
Yeah.
The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. So plan your party. That's all I got to say.
Right, Mike, I'm with you.
He's pointing out one upset. The Lions will have to upset a couple teams to do this, right? Sorry, I ran on his point.
When we get to those games, There will be odds, there will be lines, there will be all of those things. Right now,
Ever tell me the odds?
they are favored, yes, to beat the Chicago Bears. That's the only thing they can do right now. That's it.
So my feeling on this is that they need to catch some sort of break somehow, some way. And I think most teams do along the way. I don't think they've caught much breaks this year, to be honest with you.
No.
Well, look, maybe you could call Matt Eberflus's game clock management there.
But again, we don't know that they're making a field goal. We don't know that they're winning in overtime.
There's a lot of ifs that come along with that one. But beyond that, I was thinking maybe, they can somehow eat this thing out, get the 1 seed, and then somehow it's not out of the realm of possibility the Falcons win the South.
The Falcons have already beat the Eagles.
They get a home game, win that, and then they come to Ford Field for the divisional round, and you're facing a rookie quarterback in that environment. Something along those lines. They need to catch. I think some people thought last year they got a break in Tampa. Sure. I think in hindsight, maybe they didn't, But something needs to, I think something like that happens. I think that happens for most teams when they win championships.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get breaks that are in your favor, sometimes you don't. I mean, in Kansas City, when they lost to Tampa in the Super Bowl, what was the one thing that really held them back? It was the devastating injuries on the offensive line.
Right, and you look at some things like right now, like I was under the belief that the Vikings, they go to Seattle, and then they host the Packers the next 2 weeks. My belief heading before last weekend was the Vikings will not win both those games. Too daunting. And then Geno Smith gets hurt and might not play. It's like, oh really, Vikings? So you're going to catch another break here? I mean, it just seems like the Lions have had a lot go against them, and that something needs to transpire where we're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
we got a break here, we got a break there.
They're probably not winning the Super Bowl, but they're definitely not winning the Super Bowl. I mean, that's this weird spot that they find themselves in, where they're no longer the overwhelming favorite. I thought Doug Karsh put it really well yesterday. The Lions are officially Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way of framing it, right? Like, they were Super Bowl favorites, now they are merely Super Bowl contenders. They will need a break, they'll need a matchup, they'll need to make a play in a big spot. They're in the mix. They're probably not going to win it because the probability says there's a bunch of other teams as good or better than them, but they're in the mix. Do you not like that characterization?
Well, I just don't like what you said.
That they probably won't win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, just because I want it doesn't mean it's...
No, I know, it doesn't make it true.
Right.
Doesn't make it true the other way either.
I know. All right, as a Ticket Texter puts it, Jim, maybe you need a therapist to deal with your Lions fandom. I'm certainly not the only one.
I've therapy going on right now. And you know what helps? Winning.
Winning cures all. All right, we'll get to the power surge coming up next. Where does John Jansen put the Detroit Lions? Where do they stack up with the other heavy hitters? 97.1.
Hey, don't let the cold creep in. If you need your furnace serviced today, do what I did and call Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. They've got all the best equipment, the best prices, and they also offer same-day service. If you're cold inside, you need same-day service. Plus, there's a 5-year warranty that they offer, so you know you're covered no matter what. Save a bundle with their winter bundle. You can get up to $1,500 in savings when you buy a new furnace, AC, and generator. Call for details or visit mastercraftheating.com.
It's wintertime. Hey Detroit, this is Tanya Lalonde from Summit Place Kia. Are you driving your best vehicle for freezing temperatures and icy roads? You should be driving a Kia. I'll give you the same deal that I give to my friends and family. Plus, we'll give you all the money for your local trade-in. Worried about your credit upside down in your trade? At Summit Place Kia, everybody rides. So come see me today during the Season of New Tradition sales event at Summit Place Kia in Clinton Township, Auburn Hills, and SummitPlaceKia.com.
The Wine Garden St. Clair Shores is your destination for everything from single-barrel bourbon to fine wine and cigars. On Harbor, south of 9.
Come see me, Vic Tony.
The Wine Garden.
Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
Ever feel like you're missing out on cashback when you shop?
Every time.
No, with MSU-FCU's Cashback Plus.
Tell me more.
With MSU-FCU's Cashback Plus, purchase and use digital gift cards from national retailers like Hotels.com, DSW, and Spellfinder. You'll earn up to 20% cashback.
So it's like getting paid to shop.
Exactly. Find out more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up.
But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real treat? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mama and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Detroit Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming is 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Laufront America, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bikes. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes are just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
This hour of Instant Feedback brought to you by Mike Papura of National Benefit Plans. For affordable health insurance, call 877-734-2200.
Early betting tips give you the edge. Your first source for the day's angles, hot takes, analysis, and more. The Daily Tip from BetQL.
Yeah, I'm fine.
MGM, weekday morning 6 to 9 on the Bet 1270 and the Odyssey app.
Josh Allen. Yep. Is there anything he can do in the final 3 weeks that really detracts from his case?
Not really.
I mean, I think that's almost a done deal.
Yeah, barring like a 5-interception day and then another 5-interception day and then another, like he's got this on lock.
And just to add some more context to what we're talking about, because as you get to this time of the year and you're talking about the top 6 teams, it's kind of hard to get 5 and 6 sometimes.
Yep.
And you had a stat before we came out here about playoff teams and how there's a great division between the haves and have-nots.
This year, we may, based on this weekend's games, have the field set 2 weeks early. Not seeding,
right?
But the teams will be in and locked in with 2 weeks to go. That hasn't happened since 1970, which speaks to no middle class in the NFL.
Right. The haves, the have-nots. So now we're already talking about 14 teams that are more than likely your playoff teams.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of seeding. We all know that the Detroit Lions, hey, you went out, you control your own destiny, you're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. So what does that mean right now with the results that we had last week? Well, just a quick review. Week 15, it was Lions at 1, Bills at 2, Kansas City at 3, Minnesota at 4, Philly at 5, and then Pittsburgh at 6. And so what do we have this week? We have some teams that are a lot of 8 and 6 teams where I'm looking at it going, okay, well, Seattle, could you do it so solid and beat Minnesota? That would be nice. The Rams, the Chargers, Tampa Bay. A lot of teams that are getting hot going into the playoffs, but I don't necessarily know how much damage they could possibly do, and they certainly don't get into the top 6, but they could beat somebody in the top 6.
Yep.
We've also got Baltimore, Washington, Denver, and Houston, all at 9 and 5. So you've got some teams in there. Denver, like, what do we really believe about them? Baltimore is kind of that team where they've been in the top 6 and they're back out. just trying to figure out how good Baltimore is. And Lamar Jackson, he was the front runner for MVP for a long time. And then obviously we got Green Bay at 10-4. What do we do with them? Well, they're not in the top 6. Pittsburgh stays at number 6, even though they lost. But they lost to the Eagles, who last week were the number 5 team. The Eagles, having won, will actually bump up a little bit. Minnesota drops down 1 spot into the 5 spot, so they are at 12-2. They beat the Bears. Kind of anticipated that they would beat the Bears, much like we're anticipating the Lions beat the Bears. The Bears are an absolute dumpster fire, but Pittsburgh losing to the Eagles, not going to dock them a whole lot, because I still think, I think if you put them on the field with Green Bay, you put them on the field with Baltimore, you put them at this point, they're the better team. Minnesota at 5, I mentioned that. Now here's where we get to some fun. I mentioned KC at 3 last week. KC, even though they beat the Browns, bumped down to number 4. And you ask why? Well, Philly, I think, is a better offensive team. I think they're comparable defensively. And as you do a little deep dive into why has Kansas City struggled this year? You say they're a 13-1 team. They haven't struggled. Well, they've only scored 30 points twice. Offensively, with Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, the injury that they've had, they added D-Hop, but it really hasn't added a whole lot of offense. And it was still, what is it, 21-7 win over the Browns, and that was with Jameis Winston, the quote machine, throwing 3 more interceptions, ended up being benched for DTR.
And the Chiefs got 6 takeaways in that game.
Yeah. They're at 4. And I've got Philly at 3, beating the Steelers. I was kind of hopeful that that was going to be the game that they might drop, and it might give the Lions a little breathing room. No, they've seemingly put some of the off-the-field issues behind them. Not going to bump them up past that, so obviously we've got 2 teams left. Bills, Lions. No chance the Lions stay at 1, so Lions bump down to 2. Not going to fault them too much, because last week I had Buffalo as the number 2 team. So number 2 beats number 1. You just simply change spots. And I still think the Lions, I know that there's a bunch of injuries, and I talked about injuries playing a part of this. Philly also suffered some injuries. Jalen Hurts has a broken finger. Not in his throwing hand. It feels like he's still going to play. Landon Dickerson didn't finish the game, was hurt. They've had some injuries on defense. So both teams are battling some injury issues. So that's why Philly stays at 3, or moves to 3. Lions stay at 2, or only fall to 2. And the Bills are the number 1 team in the NFL going into Week 16.
Okay.
Issues you may have.
Yes, I have issues. Always do. Always do. And you guys do as well. 248-539-9797. You kind of lump in Detroit's injuries with Philly's injuries. They are not the same. We're talking season enders for the Lions. Sure. We're talking playable injuries for Jalen Hurts and some of the Eagles players.
Okay, yeah, but your quarterback has a broken finger on a hand. It can affect some of the plays that you're calling. It can affect the handoff to Saquon Barkley. It can affect a lot of things.
But don't lump them in as Lions and Eagles both have injuries.
But your quarterback has an injury. It's a big deal.
One has 22 guys on IR. The other one is the Eagles. I would have the Lions, not 1, not 2, and not 3.
Oh.
I'd put the Lions 4th. Behind Buffalo, Philly, and Kansas City.
Okay.
For all the sky is falling, I still think they're one of the 4 best teams. But there's work that has to be done. They slide down because of the loss, and not just one loss, but the losses that went with it. How they lost, and then the injuries that went with it. John, I would put the Vikings 5. You had them 5 as well?
Yes.
Okay, and then 6, I would put Green Bay over Pittsburgh.
You know, I wrestled with that one, and as much as I don't like Russell Wilson, I just don't trust Jordan Love to be able to make the plays in a key moment in key games. Like we've seen his ability to turn the ball over at key moments is tremendous.
The team I would not sleep on, and I'll say it for the 2nd week in a row, Houston. I've not been overly impressed with them, but the opportunity to pick up some significant wins the next couple weeks. They play Kansas City and Baltimore.
Yeah.
If they can win one or both of those games, they will be in. I have to imagine at that point they would be in the power surge.
Yes, but the problem that I'm having with Houston is C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is, at this point, like he just hasn't been as productive. I know Nico Collins was hurt for a little bit of the year. He's back now. They still haven't been able to find that chemistry that they had last year. C.J. Stroud, while I think he's a better player this year, is not as productive as he was last year, is not having as much influence on games as he had last year.
He's not having it because everybody overlooked just how easy their schedule was last year.
Right.
It was so stinking easy that they lit up a bunch of bad defenses. I agree with you, Jim. I was perked my ears a little bit. Their defense this week. And that's going back to D'Amico Ryans and the type of coach he is, a defensive-minded coach, that maybe if their defense can get right, and they'll show it these next couple of weeks against Kansas City, but especially Baltimore, they could be a little sneaky. But you're right. Stroud's got to he's got to find at least some of the magic from last year.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he can. Mixon's been good for them, actually. If I were to change anything, I might go Buffalo KC 1-2. And I'm starting to rank it based on the QBs. The QBs matter.
The QBs do matter.
And Mahomes looks like he's going to be okay.
Yes, in terms of the injury, yes, a high ankle sprain is a mild high ankle sprain. I think he's going to be fine. I think he is actually going to play this week, but he hasn't been the same Mahomes as he's been in the previous years.
I think I would put the Lions ahead of Philly at 3 because the Lions has just lost to 2 better teams. I mean, Atlanta did. They did lose to Atlanta, Philly. I mean, you're splitting hairs there. Vikings 5 for sure. I would not put the Packers 6 because they have a 1-3 record in the NFC North. You know, and again, they've piled up wins more than anybody against, like, mediocre bad teams. There's so many bad teams this year.
Right.
I don't ever remember a season where there's, like, it seems like there's 10 to 12 teams that are just horrendous.
Well, and here's the other thing. When you're talking about the injuries do matter. But let's not forget the Thursday night game where they played against Green Bay. And while we didn't think Liam McNeil was going to be out for the year, he was not in that game. DJ Reader, not out for the year, but he was not in that game. They have proven that they can beat teams that run the ball without a large part of their defensive line. So that's why I still have them at 2. Now, this will be telling this week. You're not going to learn a lot against the Bears, but we will see scheme. We will see how they're going to use some of these players. Who's going to fill those spots? Broderick Martin is going to have to step up and be a man.
One question. 2 teams that are surging, the Rams and Bucks. Who do you guys think is better?
The Bucks.
I do too. I got a better overall team.
Boy, you're splitting it.